What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and today I'm going to be predicting the outcome of Vasyl Lomachenko versus Richard Commey, and this is going to be a 12-rounder in the lightweight division, and this fight is going to be Saturday, December 11th from Madison Square Garden in New York City, New York, and this fight is going to be broadcasted on ESPN, ESPN Plus, or on the ESPN app. And to gain both fighters' resumes, Vasyl Lomachenko, fighting out of the Ukraine, holds a record of 15 wins, 2 defeats with 11 wins coming by way of knockout. He's currently ranked number 2 by BoxRec in the lightweight division. He's also a former 3-weight world champion and one of the best amateurs of all time. And now to list both of his defeats, he has a unanimous decision defeat to Teofimo Lopez back in October of 2020, where he did lose his unified lightweight world titles, and he also has a highly disputed split decision defeat to Orlando Salido in his second professional fight. And now to list some of his best victories, he has a majority decision win early on in his career over Gary Russell Jr., a knockout victory over Nicholas Walters, a knockout victory over Guillermo Rigondeaux, a knockout win over Jorge Linares, a unanimous decision victory over Jose Pedraza, a unanimous decision victory over Luke Campbell, and he's coming off a dominant knockout win over Masayoshi Nakatani. And to get his opponent's resume, Richard Commey, fighting out of Ghana, holds a record of 30 wins, 3 defeats with 27 big wins coming by way of knockout. He's currently ranked number 8 by BoxRec in the lightweight division. He's also the former IBF lightweight world champion. And to first of all list all 3 of his defeats, he has a split decision loss to Denis Shafikov, a split decision defeat to Robert Easter Jr., and a knockout loss to Teofimo Lopez. And now to list some of his best victories, he has a knockout win over Isa Janiev, a knockout victory over Raimundo Beltran, and a knockout victory over Jackson Martinez. And in my opinion, this fight is going to go in favor of the former pound-for-pound star and former 3-weight world champion Vasyl Lomachenko. I just think that Lomachenko will really be the dictator of the pace in this fight, and I think that he's overall just more experienced than Commey. I know that Commey has a lot more pro fights than Lomachenko, but most of his pro fights that are really recognized were in Ghana and were not really against that many level opposition to Commey's skill level and stuff like that, and he didn't really have any stiff competition up until he really started to challenge for world titles and challenge guys who were in the top 15, top 10 of his weight class. So, I mean, Lomachenko, as most of you guys know, has really been fighting top-level competition since his pro debut. I mean, literally in his second pro fight, he fought Orlando Salido. First pro fight, he fought, I believe, a fighter with over 30 professional fights who was ranked in the top 25 of his weight class. And, I mean, he really was able to get some nice victories early on in his career. As I mentioned before, that win over Gary Russell Jr., that was a nice win. I mean, he was able to dominate in his weight class that he was in starting off. I believe he started out in featherweight and now is already at 135 and a former world champion at 135 as well, unified champion, I should say. And, yeah, Lomachenko, his record might not look too stellar, but I mean, it's really excellent when you really just take a deep dive into it. And based on the fact that he really started to fight top guys in his pro debut, I mean, his resume is just excellent. So I really think that he's the more experienced guy, and plus, he's got almost 400 amateur bouts, and he's won almost all of them. So he's got a huge amount of experience in the ring over Commey. I mean, Lomachenko definitely has the better ring IQ. He's definitely faster, but Commey does have a lot more power than Lomachenko, I must say. Richard Commey, 27 knockouts and 30 wins. Even though he doesn't really have a win as good as Lomachenko's win over Russell Jr., his win over Walters, Rigondeaux, etc., or even Linares, I mean, he still carries a lot of power, and we saw that against Beltran. We saw that against a lot of guys, even when he was able to hurt Robert Easter Jr. in their very good vacant IBF title fight back in 2016. So, I mean, and we even saw Richard Commey's power against Jackson Martinez when he absolutely dominated in the 6th round, scoring 2 knockdowns, one ultimately ending the fight with a beautiful, stiff right hand to the jaw of Martinez that put him down for good. So, I mean, Richard Commey does have a lot of power, and if Commey hits Lomachenko, who knows what will happen. But I really want to see Lomachenko dig deep in this fight. I want to see him face some adversity, and I want to see if he's really back to where he was when he was champion, and see if he could possibly get another world title shot and to become a two-time lightweight champion, as well as, I mean, he's just won so many belts throughout his career, even though he's only had like 17 fights. I mean, just props to Lomachenko. He's had a great career thus far, and he's still moving on. And yeah, I think he's going to get the victory here. And just how I see this going down, I think that Lomachenko will be the one on the outside in that mid-range trying to counter and time Commey. And I think that both of these fighter styles will match up similar to how Lomachenko did against Nakatani, where Nakatani was the more lengthier man. And I think that Lomachenko will not really have a threat landing shots on Richard Commey, but he will have a problem with the power of Commey, because who knows, if he gets hit with a right hand, it could be lights out. Boxing, I mean, anything could happen. But I think that Lomachenko does have a lesser chance of getting hit because it was tremendous defense. I mean, we rarely saw Lomachenko get hit with a flush shot against Teofimo Lopez, who is one of the fiercest, one of the most fierce hitters in the lightweight division. And yeah, Lomachenko, when even Lopez would land a shot, I mean, he would take it well, and he was rarely really stunned in that fight. I believe he wasn't even stunned at all. I mean, he was only backed up a couple of times, but really, he was never really showed any signs of being hurt or anything. And the only time we saw Lomachenko down in a fight was a flash knockdown against Jorge Linares. He got caught. It was a straight down the pipe, and who knows, we could see Lomachenko go down with just a flash, like just with one shot, but I think that will be rare here because I just think that Lomachenko will stiffen up his defense since those fights, and he's definitely improved, in my opinion. And I think he will have a lot of success here, very similar to how we did against Nakatani. He'll just be too slick, too fast, too speedy for Commey, and I think that he will get a knockout victory and ultimately break down Commey in the later rounds. I think early on we could see Lomachenko win a majority of the rounds. Like after 5 or 6, we could see Richard Commey maybe winning one round out of them, with Lomachenko winning a majority. So I think Lomachenko will really be the dictator in this fight, as I mentioned earlier. He will win a majority of the rounds, and then he will start to break down Commey as the rounds go on, landing shot after shot. He could make him quit in his corner. Lomachenko has made so many guys quit in their corner. I mean, if you look at his box arc, he has so many quote-unquote RTD wins, which is basically like the corner, the doctor, the fighter quitting in their corner, etc. Like whatever, any of those corner stoppages, whatever you want to call it. So I mean, Lomachenko, he's known for breaking down fighters, and I think Commey will be another one of his victims. I could definitely see Lomachenko getting a standing stoppage in from rounds 8 to rounds 12, or even a corner stoppage from those rounds, or he could even just drop Commey a couple times like he did to Masayoshi Nakatani, and then ultimately finish him with the referee waving it off from another knockdown. So with that being said, I believe that Vasyl Lomachenko will be on the outside in a mid-range, countering and timing Richard Commey very well, whilst Commey will be the one coming forward with his excellent power, but I don't think he will have that much success in this fight due to Lomachenko's excellent defense. So overall, I believe that Vasyl Lomachenko will defeat Richard Commey by knockout, and once again, I think the stoppage will happen from rounds 8 to rounds 12. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.